What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sierra. Please ignore the laundry going in the back. I didn't even think about it when I started it that I was about to film this video. So I apologize in advance, and I also apologize that this lighting is absolute garbage and that it might be a little echoey because I'm in the kitchen that is practically empty. So with all of those things aside, today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you kind of some things that I got at the grocery store today. I'm trying to feed our dogs a little bit healthier things than just regular dog food. I know, of course, dog food's not terrible for them depending on what kind you get, but it's definitely probably not the best option, and there are a lot of things that it is missing. I mainly honestly went to get things for the dogs, and as you guys may have seen in previous videos, or if you follow me on Instagram, I have been feeding Axel these things already, but Hendrix has not been here. He just got to our house yesterday as I'm filming this. So he's used to just plain dog food and a lot of people's scraps because my parents spoiled the crap out of him, and he has gotten very chunky. So not only am I trying to put him on like a slight diet, I also want to feed him healthier because he has really bad hip problems and joint problems, and he's only 3 years old. So with that being said, I just want our dogs to be the healthiest that they can be, not only for like our sake, but for their sake as well, because yes, these things can be a little bit expensive, but if it's gonna save me a vet bill in the long run, then I'm completely fine with that. Also, these things make their food taste better, so they're more likely to eat it. Hendrix is a very picky eater, so I'm not quite sure how this is gonna go with him yet. He does not like his dog food that much, and to be honest, I don't give them straight like human food that's healthy. I do mix it in with their dog food just because we cannot afford to feed them straight like healthy people food, and there are a lot of things in dog food that are good for them, such as like meat bones and things like that I just cannot afford to buy every week. So I'm going to show you what food I give them because Axel is only about 13 weeks old and Hendrix is 3, so we do feed them different dog foods, and then I'm going to get into what I also put on top of it to make it a little better and what I plan on doing in the future. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up as well as hit the subscribe button down below. And I also am that crazy dog mom that gave her dogs an Instagram. I'm sharing all of our training tricks and food that they eat and things like that on there as well. I'll link it in the description. It's at the.x.dudes because Hendrix and Axel both have an X. I thought it was cute. I don't know. So go give us a follow on there for lots of cute dog pictures, lots of food ideas for your dog that are healthy, as well as training with Axel because we did just start a 30-day Zach George training that I downloaded online for free. I will link that down in the description below. He is doing so awesome, so I'm posting all of that on there just to kind of show his progress and show what we're doing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we store the dog's dog food down here. I got these based on vet recommendations. We use the Purina One Smart Blend. This is a 40-pound bag, so it's kind of heavy and it's almost full, so I'm not gonna pull the whole thing out. But we use the large breed adult formula. This is just, you know, basic. It just has like chicken and things. Sometimes we'll switch it up and get the chicken and rice, but this is what my parents had previously, and so we're just gonna finish out this bag before we change the flavor or buy another one because quite frankly we don't have any room. And this is supposed to be good with maintaining ideal body condition and support as well as joint health, which is why my dad got it for him because, as I mentioned before, Hendrix does have really bad hips. I don't actually know how much it helps, but this is what our vet recommended for him. It's one of the healthiest in his opinion, so that's why we use this. For the puppy, we just use the Purina Puppy Chow Healthy Start Nutrition. We got, this time, it is the tender and crunchy with real beef and rice. He really likes this one. Before we had a different one, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was just healthy puppy food, I think, but he really enjoys this one as well. We have this pedigree wet dog food. I personally don't really like to give this to Hendrix, but like I said before, he's very picky and he doesn't really like the dry food, so sometimes we have to mix in just a tad bit of this just to get him to eat at all. But that's just kind of how it goes. He's outside right now, so I can't show you guys, but I swear to y'all, when I saw him like 3 weeks ago, he was not this large, and now he's so big, and I'm just like, this is not good for him, especially because he has bad hips. I don't want him to weigh a whole lot, even though it's mainly on his front half. I just want him to be healthy, and I don't want to have to keep taking him to the vet for the hips because last time we got x-rays, they said that he had hip dysplasia and some torn ACLs because when he runs, he goes full speed and then he regrets it after. So that's pretty much the thing with Hendrix. Axel, of course, he's only 13 weeks old. He's perfectly healthy right now. He actually goes back to the vet this week, so we'll see an update on that. He's gaining weight like he should be, and he's growing like he should be, so we're not really concerned about him right now. That may be something in the future. I do want to get him like tested, those little things that you send off, but I haven't done that yet because I just haven't got around to it, so that may be something for another video. Now I'm going to show you what I got them at the grocery store and kind of tell you like what the benefits of each thing is. I have spoken with my vet about this. There are some things that he was like, yeah, of course, and there was nothing that he was like, no, don't give them that, but you know, he was just like, you know, it's kind of hard to keep up with because you don't want to give them too much of one thing that they shouldn't. Why is it out of focus? You don't want to give them too much of one thing because sometimes it may be too much and they may like overproduce or whatever. Of course, you don't want them to be deficient in any vitamins or minerals or anything like that. But sometimes if you give them certain things too often, why does it keep unfocusing? I don't know. Sometimes if you give them things too often when they shouldn't have it, then it's not good for them. And I will explain that in the things that I got as well. Again, please ignore the laundry in the back. I'm so sorry that I did not plan this out well, but I want to get through this before I have to like put it up and get it all back out. So the first thing that I got were these mandarin oranges. And yes, we are going to eat these as well. You don't want to give your dog a whole orange. It's only good to give them like 1 or 2 of the little slices a day. You don't want to give them any more than that. Oranges do have a lot of nutrients. They have potassium and they have a lot of fiber and they're low in sodium, which is good. But like I said, you only want to, once you peel it, you only want to give your dog like 1 or 2 a day. You don't want to feed them the whole orange. And the peels are not bad for them, but their stomach does have a hard time digesting them. So you want to make sure you don't give them the peel just because they don't digest it well. So like I said, we're going to eat these too, but I do also like to give them to the dogs. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure if they're going to like them, but I don't know why they wouldn't. Another fruit that I got for the dogs are blueberries. I put this on their meal every morning and typically every night. I just do like a small handful on each bowl, just enough for them to taste it. And I like to put more than one thing on their food at a time. It gives them different textures and different flavors and it kind of makes them slow down their eating. But these are really good for dogs. They help prevent cancer and they're good for your digestive tract just like they are in humans. So if your dog is having a hard time going to the bathroom, you may want to feed them this, or if they have like acid reflux or have a hard time digesting their food, these are really good for them because they're easy on their stomach and that's what they're good for, is your digestive tract. And again, like I said, they're really good at preventing cancer. Plus they're super yummy and my dogs love them. Like I said, I put them on every meal. I'm not gonna say you can't give them too much because you probably can to the point where they probably have diarrhea, but if you just stick to like a handful on each bowl or a handful each day, you probably won't have a problem out of these. The next thing that I got that I showed in one of my last videos is canned tuna. I just get the Starkiss brand Chunky Light tuna in water, not in oil. I only give this to them once a week. If you give them too much, they can get too much mercury and it's just not good for them. This I did run by my vet and he said, you know, once a week is fine, but more than that, probably not, especially for Axel, who's so small. Just for me to be able to keep track and remember, I give this to them Sunday mornings and that's it. I, open it and then I drain all the water out because it does have a little bit of sodium in it. So I drain all the water out and then I rinse it off to try to get as much of the sodium off as I can. And then I just mix it in with their dog food. It's supposed to be really good for their fur, protein, and things like that. And it just adds flavor to their meal so they're more likely to eat it. But it is supposed to be very good for their fur. It's supposed to make it shinier and healthier looking. And it's supposed to help with shedding, which is very important because German Shepherds shed a lot. And Hendrix also sheds a lot. And his hair is super short. So you just pet him and it just like goes everywhere. So this is why I feed them that. But like I said, only once a week because more than that can be really harmful to them if they get too much mercury. The next thing I got is canned pumpkin, and you have to make sure that it's 100% pure. I'm sure you've heard that a million times before, but it can't be like pumpkin pie filling. It has to be 100% pure pumpkin. So I just get this Libby's brand. It's really high in vitamin A, which is good for brain and eye development, especially in puppies. A lot of the stuff is for Axel because he's still, growing and developing, but it's also good for older dogs just to keep them healthy and prevent them from getting certain diseases and, losing their eyesight or things like that. And it's also just good for all around immune support. Also, sometimes it can help keep them full. So say you have a dog that chews a lot. Once they get bored and hungry, if you feed them this, they're less likely to get hungry, especially if you're gone, say, for an 8-hour workday and you aren't able to come home. This is supposed to keep them fuller for longer. I don't know how well that works because I usually only give them a spoonful. I don't like to put too much of all these foods in just because I don't want them to get too full and get sick. So I don't know that for sure, but I have seen that in my research of how pumpkin is good for dogs. Another thing I got is coconut oil. Again, this I haven't actually used. This is the first time I've bought it, but I've heard lots of good things about it, and I just plan on putting a spoonful in their food every once in a while. Like I said, I like to mix things up. I don't give them the same thing for every meal just because I know that gets boring. So I like to switch things up, so I'm gonna start putting this in it. Coconut oil is also really good for digestion. A lot of people I know will get like the little silicone things and put this in there and freeze it and then put it on top of the food. It's like kind of like a treat. This is also good for older dogs for improving like their mental function, for, you know, their, not only their energy, but also like how they learn things. So they always say, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but this may help you do that. And also that's not true. Hendrix is 3 years old and he still learns stuff all the time. So this is good. You can. I also plan on using it in some treats that I'm gonna make. That'll probably be a separate video, but I plan on making treats, and this is one of the ingredients in that as well. Another good fruit as a snack for a dog are bananas. Again, we're gonna eat these as well, and these are super ripe, so we won't be eating these for a while. But these are good for your dogs as well. They do have a lot of sugar, so you don't want to give them like a whole banana or give them bananas with every single meal. But if you want to slice one up and give them a couple pieces as treats, they're good for potassium, they're good for fiber, good for digestion and things like that, and they just taste good. They're also very low in sodium, which is really healthy for dogs. But like I said, they do have a high sugar content, so this is not something you want to feed your dogs, you know, all the time. Another thing that I got that's for us and the dogs are eggs. I got Nature's Promise, which is sold at Food Lion. It doesn't have antibiotics or added hormones, which is really good. They're organic, and they're cage-free fresh brown eggs. I just got an 18 count. I don't give these to the dogs every day. This is another thing you don't want to like give too much of. I did also speak with the vet about, especially since Axel is small, I only give it to him like 2 or 3 times a week, never twice in the same day. This is supposed to be really good in protein, obviously, and also it's really good for their coat and for their fur, for skin irritation or anything like that that you may deal with, and also for shedding. So I literally just rinse it off in case that there are any like chemicals that the farmers use on the outside of the shell. I do that, and then I rinse that off, and then I put the entire, like I crack the egg in their food, and then I also just break up the shell, and they're able to eat that as well. Axel really loves this. I personally like cringe at the thought of eating a raw egg, but he loves it. And it mixes in really well too, because you can like break the yolk and stuff. So it's really easy to mix in with everything. Next, again, this is for Jonathan and the dogs, but this is just Jif peanut butter. Peanut butter is just a good snack. It has a little bit of protein in it. You just want to make sure that you get it without, I think it's pronounced xylitol or something like that. It's a certain kind of sugar that dogs cannot digest. In my research, it said that pretty much all the major name brands like Jif, Skippy, Peter Pan, those typically don't have them in there. All you have to do is just look at the ingredients. It'll tell you if it's in there or not. This one does not have that, obviously. It does have sugar in it, so you don't want to give them a whole lot, but it does not have the sugar that they cannot process in their little dog digestive system. We used this actually when we tried to clip Axel's toenails. He wasn't freaking out, but he wasn't used to it. So I put this on a spoon and I held it up, and he was licking it off the spoon while Jonathan did his toenails, and he didn't even notice. So this is a good snack, or if you give them a bath and they don't like baths, if you put it on the side of your shower wall while you wash them, a lot of dogs will completely ignore what you're doing and just lick it off the wall. So those are kind of some little hacks that I've learned with peanut butter. Also, they just love the taste of it. I don't know. I'm not that huge of a peanut butter person, but the dogs love it, and so does Jonathan. A spice that I've heard a lot of good things about is turmeric. I just got this ground turmeric, the Badia brand. It is organic. This brand at Food Lion is cheaper than the Food Lion brand, so that's why I got this one, especially for it to be organic. Turmeric is really good as an anti-inflammatory, and it's also really good for joints and hips, things like that. So this is especially for Hendrix because he's already having that problem, and I also want to give it to Axel to prevent that problem, because German Shepherds are also kind of known to have bad hips, you know, because they like to jump a lot and they're just big dogs, so it's a lot of weight. This is also can be used as a blood thinner, so it doesn't, you know, thin it out too bad, but it can prevent blood clots. Not that dogs get those a whole lot, but it does prevent that. This is also good for breaking down fats, so it can prevent like bowel diseases or bowel issues. Again, just good for digestion, things like that. And it also is good for boosting their immune system. I just sprinkle a little bit. You don't want to give them a whole lot. I just give them like 1/4 of a teaspoon, and that's it on their meal, and then just mix it in. The last 2 things that I put on the dog's food, this is 2 things that I put on every morning, and then one of them I put on every single meal just because it enhances the flavor. I did not get these at the store. You can probably get them at the store, but I ordered them on Amazon, so I will leave it in the description down below which ones I use. One of them is this solid gold bone broth. It's just a meal topper. I have the chicken bone broth, and it has lavender and chamomile in it. Lavender is really good for like a calming aid. It has a lot of amino acids that help like gut health, basically, again, digestion and things like that. And I really love this brand because, as you can see, all of the ingredients are super awesome. There's no additives or preservatives. It's literally just chicken bone broth, carrots, sweet potatoes, apples, sesame seed oil, lavender, and chamomile. Like I said, I get these on Amazon. These are 100% human grade, so you could use this in your own meals if you really wanted to, and it's honestly probably healthier than what you get at the store. I get the big packs. I can't remember exactly how many come in it, but it comes in a big box, and I think it was like $30 or $40 if I remember correctly, and they last a very, very long time. So yes, we only had Axel, but like I said, I put this on every meal that he gets, at least a little bit, and one of these lasted me like a month of meals for him, and he gets 2 meals a day and then like a snack at lunch. I don't put it on the snack at lunch, but 2 meals a day for a month, and this lasted me. I'm not sure how that would change now that we have 2 dogs, but he really, really enjoys it. And it also helps puppies if their teeth aren't completely in, or if their food is just a little too hard for them. It helps soften it up a little without just like running water over it and it being like mushy and gross. This actually tastes good to them. And then the last thing that I put on their food every single morning is this hemp oil. It's the Buster's brand. Again, I got this on Amazon. It comes in a pack of 2, I think for $17 or $18. Bro, this laundry, man, it's really killing me. I screwed up. I'm sorry. Anyway, hemp is really good as a calming aid, again, as is the lavender, but it's also really good for pain and joints and things like that, especially for Hendrix. I can't wait to use this for him and see how it affects him, because he does have a hard time, like when he goes to sit, he doesn't sit straight down, he kind of swings out to the side because his hips do hurt him really, really badly. So I can't wait to give this to him and see like what kind of changes I see, if any. But this definitely does calm them down a lot. It tells on the back how much you should give them per like their weight, and it's just a little dropper, as you can see, and the dropper is labeled. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but the dropper is labeled, and then you literally just squirt it on their food. I don't know if it really has a taste, but Axel hasn't minded it, and I give this to him in the mornings because I do leave for work, and so does Jonathan, so he's been here by himself. So I kind of did that to keep him calm, you know, in our new home. That is all the things that I personally am giving my dogs right now. Of course, there are tons of other things you can give your dogs. Those are just kind of my top choices. Like I said, I just kind of rotate things out so it's not the same thing over and over and over again. And there are some things that you only want to give your dog a couple times a week at most. I'm trying to, like, you know, figure out some more things to give them, just because, like I said, I don't love dog food. Like, I know that there are certain things in it that they have to have, but I also feel like there's a lot of like additives and things like that, and it's just so expensive. And I feel like if I'm spending that much money on dog food, it should be food that's actually good for them and like improving their health. Axel is definitely full of energy because he's a puppy, but I'm hoping to see the same thing in Hendrix once I start feeding him better than just like human scraps that aren't good for him. Like, my mom was feeding him steak, and literally anything that was about to go bad they would throw in the woods and he would go eat it, which is not their fault that he went and found it, but that's what he's been eating for like the past 1.5 years. So I'm hoping that his hips will feel better and that he'll be able to lose a little bit of all the chunk that they put on him with all of these foods that I got today. Like I said before, I will leave links in the description of everything that I've mentioned that I got on Amazon, as well as things I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If you enjoy this dog content, like I said, give us a follow on Instagram at the.x.dudes. I'll leave that in the description as well. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or any dog videos you'd like to see from me in the future, leave that in the comments. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'm sure the pups would truly enjoy it, and I will insert pictures of both of them here so that you can see their super cute little faces. I will see you guys in my next video.